Yo, what's up, guys? It's Suraj from Tech Devoted, and one question I get asked a lot these days, and I have absolutely no idea why, is how I edit the pictures that I post on my Instagram. The answer is generally Lightroom. That does not change. What does change, however, is the device I'm using. If I'm on the go or if I just cannot wait to edit the picture I just clicked, I use Lightroom on my phone. And if I'm at home, if I want a more laid back experience, I use Lightroom on my Mac. Now, since many of you have asked, in this video I'm gonna cover my editing workflow for when I'm on the go, that is using Lightroom mobile. So let's go ahead and edit a couple of pictures, and hopefully by the end of this video you'll have your questions answered. So without wasting any more time, let's jump right into the video. So I have in front of me a portrait of my friend Akash. Shout out to him at Kamchor on Instagram if you guys want to follow. But I shot this photo on my camera and I'm pretty happy with the composition, to be honest. I quite like it, but just like with any picture, this photo could also use a bit of editing. So that's exactly what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to try to achieve the popular moody faded look. So yeah, let's give this a shot. I'm currently inside Lightroom mobile. There is no histogram here, but from what I can see, the exposure seems fine. The photo is properly exposed judging by my eyesight, but as you can see, there's a lot of whites and bright areas in this picture, in the wall and his outfit, so I think we can really accentuate on those things. So the first thing I'm going to do is head into the light tab and pull up those highlights and whites a little bit. Again, not too much because I don't want to overexpose this image. So that looks fine, about 36 on the whites and 17 on the highlights. Actually, I feel we can even lift the blacks up a little, but again, not too much because I don't want to make this look like a HDR image. That's really not the look we're going for. So far that seems okay. Here's a quick before and after. Not a big change, but just exposure. But we'll come back to the light section again later to deal with the curve. But for now, I'm just gonna sway away from it and head into the color tab. Now, if you know anything about my editing style, you would have noticed that I absolutely love warm temperatures. So the first thing I'm gonna do is pull that temperature slider a bit to the right. Again, not too much, just a little bit. That looks fine. Next, I'm gonna go ahead and decrease the vibrance a little bit, just to desaturate the midtones, basically his face. So that looks good. And now at this point I go into the mix tab, or as it's called on Lightroom PC, HSL. And the very first thing I'm gonna do in this case is change the hue of the green, because I'm honestly not a fan of the way it's looking. So I'm gonna go on the green color and pull the hue slider all the way to the left. I'm also gonna lift the luminance up all the way to the right, so that looks much better in my opinion. We can also pull up the luminance in the oranges, but again, in this case we have to be sure not to go too overboard with it, because if we do so, his face is gonna look really bright and really artificial. So I'm just gonna use this one in moderation. So about 30 actually seems fine. That I think is looking sort of natural, but also giving us the look that we want. So oops. So far with the HSL, I think that looks fine. Here's a quick before and after again. So we've definitely come a fairly long way from the initial edit, or from the initial image. But anyway, now is a good time to go back to the light tab and mess with the curves. So I'm gonna create a faded look here. So to do that, I am just gonna create a S curve. So that is basically pulling up the shadows, dropping the midtones, and lifting the highlights. So that is a quick S curve. I think this amount of fade works for me. How much you want to do is honestly obviously up to you, but this is, I think, good enough. It's not too much, but it's not too less either. I think it's just the sweet spot. But anyway, next I like to go into the effects tab and mess with the clarity. Sometimes I go ham on the clarity slider, but in this case I don't think it's gonna look nice. I'm not gonna like pull it all the way to the right, but because if I do that, as you can see, it's really blowing up the contrast, especially in the midtones. So that is not what we want. It looks really fake. So again, I'm gonna do the clarity in moderation, about 50 or even 48 looks fine honestly. And yeah, again, before and after, that's a major difference. Some people also like to increase the sharpening. I'm not gonna do that in this case because this image is already tack sharp as it is. In fact, I actually feel the image looks really synthetic. So to take away some of that sharpening, to add a bit of organic feeling, I'm gonna add a bit of grain. That's gonna take away from the super sharp synthetic feeling that it has. So about 40 on the grain seems fine. You can go overboard with this. I like to stay a little bit conservative, especially when there's like a huge white wall, because if you go all the way to the right, it's gonna look really bad. So in my opinion, about 40 looks fine. Honestly, you can leave this here. I would leave this here, but I feel we can also experiment with the split tone in this picture. So introducing a bit of green in the highlights, I think would look nice. So that's what I'm gonna do. uh, I think that hue looks fine, and for the saturation I'm gonna do about 8. So yeah, that is pretty much the edit. We can crop this and take out a bit of the negative space if you want, but whatever. So yeah, that's pretty much the edit. I think it looks okay. I'm pretty satisfied with it, and here's a quick before and after. So guys, there you have it. That is my workflow for editing on the phone. If you like this one, give it a like. If you did not, vote it down. Let me know in the comments why I didn't like it. It's been Suraj. Thanks so much for watching. Take it easy and stay devoted. So I was just doing some final touches to the video and I realized I could just give you guys the preset. So that's exactly what I'm going to be doing. In the description is the download link to the preset. Download it on your phone, use it on your pictures. It's free, and maybe post it on Instagram. Use the hashtag, I guess, tech devoted preset or TD preset. Yeah, I think we'll do TD preset, and I'll check out some of the photos. So yeah, have fun and peace.